Chapter 37, Team Division. It's here, the man with glasses exclaimed excitedly. It's finally here. A large man slowly approached. He was about 1.9 meters tall with a buzz cut. He patted his pocket and then asked the Minotaur, "How much?" "1 Dao for the ticket." The large man pulled a small ball from his pocket and flicked it to the Minotaur, who caught it smoothly. "Had a good sleep. Let's get started." The large man stretched, cracked his neck, and mumbled, "Let me see what kind of tricks you guys have come up with this time." He-Shaw and the others looked at the fierce-looking man, sensing that he wasn't someone to be trifled with. Tiao Jiajin didn't pay much attention to the man. After all, he had seen plenty of such people on the streets, those who relied on their strong physique to bully others. Tiao Jiajin had even made a few of them cry with his own hands. He just didn't know whether this man was another paper tiger. With 20 people gathered, everyone slowly stepped forward to pay their ticket. Ti-Shaw thought for a moment, then took out for Dao. It wasn't a small amount for them, and after handing them over, they only had one left. "Are we really going to participate in this game?" Tiao Jiajin asked. "What about our strategy?" "I'm torn too," Ti-Shaw replied. "It's risky, but I feel that a game involving 20 participants at once is rare. It's worth the gamble." After getting the consent of the other three, Ti-Shaw dropped 4 Dao into the Minotaur's box. "Good." The Minotaur nodded, then turned to open the door, revealing a staircase leading down to the basement. "Participants, please enter." He turned and slowly descended the stairs. The participants, all wearing cautious expressions, followed him down into the depths. "This place looks huge. It's on a whole different level than the Ratman game," Sweetie whispered. "Be careful," Ti-Shaw replied. "I have a bad feeling." The middle-aged man had predicted that this game would lead to death, which bothered Ti-Shaw. He wasn't afraid of dying, he was more afraid of being buried forever in this strange place. As a conman, he had gambled with his life many times and always survived. Thinking about it, this situation wasn't much different from the past. It was just another dangerous gamble. Before long, they reached the bottom of the stairs. The room they entered was small, filled with the scent of old nests under dim lighting. In the center were 20 chairs. On either side of the room were doors, one painted yellow, the other green. "Everyone, please sit," the Minotaur said. "Don't worry, the game hasn't started yet." Reluctantly, everyone sat down. With PXIA's group of sitting together, they noticed that each chair had small lights on the armrests, one yellow and one green. "Since this is a team game, to ensure fairness, we will now perform a random team division. Please stay seated, or you will be subjected to punishment." Upon hearing this, everyone's faces became uneasy. The most shocked were the man with glasses and the middle-aged man. "What? Team division?" Ti-Shaw thoughtfully stroked his chin, realizing that this setup was advantageous only to the organizers. If this was a gambling game, they'd want to minimize the participants' chances of winning. The best way to do that was to mix up the teams. The Minotaur walked to a corner of the room, found a button, and then looked back at everyone with a meaningful glance. "The game officially begins." With that, he pressed the button. The lights on the armrests began flashing. Yellow and green lights alternated, creating an eerie scene in the dim room. Ti-Shaw stared at the small lights on his armrest, feeling a bit nervous. If Ox really represented a physical game, it wasn't his forte. This game would depend on Tiao Jiajin's strength. But if he thought this way, so would everyone else. Like the man with glasses and the chubby middle-aged man who had brought the large man as their helper. However, it seemed like the Minotaur had anticipated everyone's plans and was trying to prevent such things from happening. Hence the random team division. Ti-Shaw knew that if luck wasn't on his side and he ended up on a different team from Tiao Jiajin, the game's outcome would be unpredictable. Before Ti-Shaw could come up with a complete strategy, the lights stopped flashing. Some people had their yellow lights on, while others had green. So this was the random team division. Pijia glanced around at his group's team assignments and felt mixed emotions. The good news was that both he and Tiao Jin had yellow lights, meaning they were on the same team. The bad news was that the two girls had green lights, meaning they were on the opposite team. If this was indeed a physical game, it would be a tough challenge for them. Murmurs of discontent rippled through the crowd. It seemed that no one else was pleased with their teams either. The game rules will now be announced, the Minator said in a low voice. Each team will play separately, in their own arenas, with no interaction between the two. The goal is to survive for 10 minutes without being eliminated. If you succeed, each player will receive Dao equal to the number of people who survived. Hearing this, many couldn't sit still. Hey, the middle-aged man suddenly stood up. That's all you're telling us? What kind of game are we playing? What will we face? The crowd looked at the Minotaur, expecting further explanation, but he simply glanced at the middle-aged man and said inferiorly, "Yellow team, follow me." You. The middle-aged man gritted his teeth, but didn't dare to curse aloud. He was already angry at being separated from his team, and now the unclear rules only made him more frustrated. The man with glasses kept tugging at his sleeve, trying to calm him down. Kaija turned to Sweetie and Lin Tian, saying, "No matter what's behind that door, be careful. Focus on staying alive." "Got it," the two girls replied, clearly nervous. "Let's go," Tian said to Qiao Jin. Moving forward, the two of them glanced at their teammates, realizing the situation wasn't promising. Out of the 10 people, 6 were women. If this was indeed a physical team game, it was going to be a tough battle. Aside from Qi and Kai Jin, the only other men were the man with glasses and the middle-aged man. Meanwhile, the other team only had Sweetie and Lin Qian as the two girls. Damn, Tiao Jin muttered as he looked at their teammates' physiques. One's a skinny guy, the other's a fatty. Enough, Tijan said. We'll have to rely on ourselves. The 10 of them lined up in front of the yellow door. Under the Minotaur's guidance, lined up in front of the green door, with a deep clanking sound of chains. The doors in front of them opened, revealing yet another staircase leading down. Without a word, Tiao Jin descended the stairs. The others hurried to follow. The staircase wasn't long but steep. After descending about a few dozen steps, they arrived at a large open space, roughly the size of half a basketball court. In the center was a round iron plate, about the size of a table. Tija quickly scanned the environment. High walls surrounded them on all sides. In front of them was a large iron gate. Above the gate was an electronic timer, set at 10 minutes.